In the story of the Bible, it speaks of a man who did many miracles that we all grew up loving. And I really want to know, where does the story of a man walking on water originate from? And the most ancient story of a man walking on water, can you tell me everything about that story, where it comes from, please?
So, the idea of someone walking on water appears in several ancient stories, not just the Bible. There's a story about the god Vishnu's foot touching the water and staying above it in Hindu tradition. In Chinese stories, there are tales of people with special powers walking on water. The Bible's version, where Jesus walks on the Sea of Galilee, is the most well known in the West.
When was the Chinese one written and when was the Hindu one written?
The Hindu story of Vishnu is part of the ancient Puranas, some of which are over 2,000 years old. The Chinese stories vary, but some could be from around the same time or a bit later. The Christian story of Jesus walking on water is in the New Testament, written about 1,900 years ago. Do you want to know more about a specific version?
So, around 2,000 years ago, in all ancient cultures, there was a man walking on water.
While the Bible's account of Jesus walking on water is the most famous, it's not the only one. There are older stories from other cultures that also feature this idea. Would you like to hear more about those?
Yeah, how old is the oldest one?
Some scholars suggest parts of the Puranas could be as old as 3,000 to 5,000 years, although pinpointing exact dates for ancient texts is tricky. Would you like to hear the story of Vishnu walking on water?
Yes.
Okay, so the story goes that Vishnu, the preserver god in the Hindu Trinity, once proved his power by touching his foot to the surface of the water and remaining above it. This showed his divine nature and control over the elements. Are you interested in learning more about Vishnu's role in Hinduism?
Yeah, tell me about the Chinese culture and the people who walked on water in that culture.
Okay, so the story of Bodhidharma crossing a river on a reed is a popular one in Chinese folklore. Bodhidharma was a Buddhist monk who lived around the 5th or 6th century AD. The story goes that he needed to cross a river, and instead of finding a boat, he plucked a reed, placed it on the water, and used it to float across. There are different versions of this story, but they all highlight Bodhidharma's spiritual powers.
Tell me another version of the story.
Okay, here's another version. This one says that Bodhidharma asked an old woman for a reed to cross the river. She gave him one, and he used it to reach the other side. This version emphasizes his humility and resourcefulness.
What did the story say about the woman who gave him the reed? Did it emphasize anything about the woman?
The story doesn't say much about the woman, but it does highlight her kindness in helping Bodhidharma. It suggests she was a compassionate person willing to assist a stranger.
So who was the stranger? Was the stranger Christ's figure?
The stranger in the story is Bodhidharma, a Buddhist monk. He's not typically associated with Christian figures. Bodhidharma was a Buddhist monk who lived during the 5th or 6th century AD. He's traditionally credited as the transmitter of Chan Buddhism to China and is considered its first Chinese patriarch. He's a pretty important figure in Zen Buddhism.
What kind of things did he teach? What was his message to the Chinese people?
Bodhidharma's teachings focused on meditation and the idea that everyone has the potential to become a Buddha. He emphasized that enlightenment comes from within, not from studying scriptures or performing rituals.
What kind of life did Bodhidharma live?
Bodhidharma lived a simple life focused on meditation and teaching. He spent much of his time in the Shaolin monastery, where he developed exercises to help the monks stay awake during long periods of meditation. He was known for his intense focus and dedication to his practice.
Did Bodhidharma have any kids?
There's no record of Bodhidharma having any children. He was a monk who dedicated his life to his spiritual practice.
Did he have any women?
Bodhidharma was a celibate monk, so he did not have any wives or children. He dedicated his life to his spiritual practice.
Sounds like the story of Jesus, right?
There are some similarities between Bodhidharma and Jesus, like their dedication to their teachings and simple lifestyles. However, their specific teachings and the cultures they lived in were quite different.
Did he speak of the world being a cursed place since the beginning of time and people going to hell when they die for not believing in his teachings?
Bodhidharma taught that negative actions would lead to negative consequences in future lives, but not necessarily eternal damnation. He didn't describe the world as a cursed place, but rather as a place where people experience suffering due to their attachments and desires.
So the concept that the world looks at right now, where whoever has the most, that can get you messed up in another life.
Bodhidharma taught that attachment to material possessions and desires could lead to suffering and negative consequences in future lives. So in that sense, holding on to the idea that having the most is the ultimate goal could be seen as a path towards a less desirable rebirth.
Beautiful. I just want to let you know we got more on the way.
Remember, it's all about balance, understanding the world around us while staying true to ourselves. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more mind-expanding discussions.